My name is Dr. Dewhanne Picou-Nyivih, of course. Picou is my maiden name. Born and reared in New Orleans, Louisiana. The eldest of 11 siblings, the only one to graduate high school, university, get a master's degree and a terminal degree in my family. We were born into poverty on welfare and food stamps. I'm not sure if you even know what that is. But in the United States, the government back in the day created a whole new currency for the poor to identify the poor in supermarkets. So they also made food products with just pictures for the labeling for the poor. So I am very well acquainted with being from the wrong side of the tracks. I wrote this book in order to explain definitions of autism and also to have a story where you can see the gifted portion of your child. Because Oy, he does have these behaviors that are odd. That's why Oy's Oddities. But he's also gifted. He can play the saxophone and he can play it by ear. He can hear one note and he can develop, and he's composed so many songs. He is super intelligent. He's in a GATE program, which that's the Gifted and Talented Educational Program in the United States. But yet he still has these oddities and he's still on the spectrum. And so that's basically what the book is about. The book, it's in its first draft now, and it's going to be available in May. Okay, the two things I really want to get over, to parents. One, again, it goes back to meeting your child where they are. You have to meet them where they are. I mean, I've come across, and I've been a victim of this too, putting my aspirations on my child. And that's a lot of pressure. And I know in the community, I'll never forget when I married my husband, one of the criteria is we had to have our non-negotiables. And one of my husband's non-negotiables is that we have children. And that was a difficult thing for me because, like I said, I'm the oldest of 11. And when you have a big family, the parents, they raise the first two, and then those two raise the rest of them. So I felt like I've reared my children already. But that was one of his non-negotiables. He wanted to be a father and he wanted to have a son. And so I remember when my children were very little, because I have a son and a daughter, when they were very little, and his culture, he says, okay, here, let me give you your options. And this is when they were young. I mean, I think my daughter was maybe 3 and my son was 6. And he said, make a wise decision. You can be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, or a disappointment. Choose wisely. Teachers have been in, and not all teachers, just some teachers have been in the classroom for so long that they have not kept up with the skills in terms of technology. So I think bridging that digital divide is one area of opportunity. And for sure, because you have kids out here, the kids of today are not the kids of yesterday. Kids of today are so savvy. I don't know a kid who does not have a smartphone. I just don't know, show me a kid who does not have a smartphone. And the smartphone is a very sophisticated piece of technology. So if these children are operating on that level, and that's even in the poor regions of schools, every child has a smartphone. So they're operating this sophisticated, piece of technology. Utilize that in your classroom to help differentiate instruction. And I think that a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this too, I don't understand the resources that are right there at that are right there in my hands. I mean, now I'm a technology geek. I have every type of technology. You can an iPhone, I'm a dual platform user, iPad, you name it, I have it. But that's by necessity because I have children who navigate that sphere, and that's how they navigate their world, through text. And so I have to learn how to text, And so I think that, bridging that digital divide and supporting technology and the teaching of technology to teachers in advanced ways. And I'm not talking about just how to operate the computer or anything like that. I'm talking about learning how to code. I mean, utilizing Python and understanding Python and teaching those kinds of skill sets to students the pupil population that you serve. So that's a very big challenge, because I don't know, but technology is so, to a lot of individuals, technology is scary. You know, it's like, you know, if you go on the computer and you do something wrong, you'll break it. I mean, it's just technology. It's just, you know, it's not anything to be afraid of. It's something that you can utilize as a valued resource. And especially with all of these apps with AI coming out, and especially with the development of new opportunities in the world, you're going to have that skill set. And I think that it is on the onus of teachers to educate themselves or lobby for that kind of professional development so that they can keep up with the changing times that we have coming upon us. If I could change one thing in the world, I think I would have teachers be treated like celebrities. And not only with the glorification, but also with pay. The pay is so dismal for what we do. You know, there are teachers here in the U.S. who are still paying off their student loans and can't afford to even purchase a home. And that's a crime. That's a real crime. You know, not giving teachers the adulation that they deserve, you know, because to me, it's teachers and the rest of the world. My husband likes to say it's civil engineers and the rest of the world, but no, it's teachers. Teachers are the foundation. We're the foundation. And so just to give us put some respect on our craft, put some respect on our names, you know, and show that respect by raising the pay scales across the board. I mean, how do you justify paying a basketball player millions of dollars when you're paying teachers sometimes $26,000 a year, and that's below the poverty line? You have teachers on welfare and food stamps.